Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Firstly, apologies, it's been a while that I haven't uploaded a video, but I'm back. Today I'm just going to talk, haven't written down anything, just going to talk based on my own experiences about self-publishing. For those of you who are new here, my name is saccheenthewriterlaing and I'm an author and poet as well as a digital marketer. Today I'm going to talk to you about self-publishing. I have successfully published 8 books and I'm going to share some of the tips and things that I've learned over the years about publishing. So these are some of my books. Right. How did I get started in self-publishing? Well, from ever since I wanted to publish a book, and I started up with poetry because that's where my passion really lies. So I decided after years and years of writing my poems, why not put them into collections and have them published so that people would be able to easier access them as well as I'll be able to earn from it. So that's what I did. So this was back in about 2016, 2017, where I published my first book, The Voice of Jamaica. This was a poetry collection that focused mainly on social issues, crime, poverty, all of that in Jamaica, specifically written about experiences, my own experiences living in Jamaica. That book did not do well. I mean, I felt defeated. I felt like I wasted my time and all of that. I was like, I'm never ever going to do this again. But that book was a learning experience. I mean, it was my first time self-publishing and I was learning as I go along. And yeah. Then I went on to Strip Souls, which did much better, and yeah, and I continued to publish poetry collections until I published the Curly Hair Club, which did amazing and continues to do amazing. Some of the things you need to know going into self-publishing: before I ever published my book, I established my brand online. It's easier for you to already have a presence online before you ever try to sell anything to anyone. You develop relationships, people already love what you do, so it doesn't come across as if you're forcing them to buy anything. It's just a natural progression as you go along. So that's the first thing that I would recommend to anyone. Establish a presence online, establish your brand before you ever try to sell a book to anyone. I mean, just popping out of nowhere and just putting a book out there, it may work if you have a strong team behind you, but if you don't, you need to ensure that you are in the space before you ever actually publish. For me, with the Curly Hair Club, certain things that you have to ensure that you do as well is that you look for a good editor if you know you aren't good with grammar, structure, and all of that. I needed a good illustrator. That's very important if you're doing a book that requires illustration, and you need a good formatter, especially if you're new to the Amazon publishing system, which is where I published all of my books through Amazon publishing services. Those were the main costs that I had to factor in. So illustration, formatter, editor. Those were the costs that I had to factor in. A good illustrator would probably run you, depending on the length of your book and how many illustrations are required, will run you I would say 700 to 1000 to 1005 US. Depends again on the illustrator and what it is that you're looking for. I would say that you should invest a lot in your illustrator, because illustrations can literally make or break your books. In the case of the Curly Hair Club, it literally made the book, and the same for Thorns Not Cells was also illustrated by the same illustrator. I would also say that if it is that you're not as versed online, you can also hire someone to do the publishing aspect of it for you. I have done this in the past. It's not something that I still do now due to other commitments, but that's something you can also invest in as well. It's free to publish on Amazon, so that's first and foremost. So in the cases of my poetry collections, it literally cost me nothing to publish them. But as I said, it's always wise to invest in a editor. Have other eyes look at your work, because nobody wants to buy a book that has grammar and all that. It's not done properly. It doesn't come across professionally. Remember, you're selling a product, so you have to give the best to what it is that you're putting out there. One of the most important aspects of publishing, self-publishing for me, I would say, is marketing. You need to ensure that your marketing is on key. You can have the most amazing book and never sell a copy because you're not marketing your book. So it's either you're going to get either you're going to hire marketing professionals to do this for you, or you're going to do this for yourself. You always have to ensure that you find a way to make sure that your books stay relevant in the social media space and outside of social media, because you can't just be dependent on social media to sell your books for you. Some of the things that worked for me, partnering with influencers, people who will be able to represent your book well, who have massive followings online and are known, recognized. That helps. Also, ensure that you have good photography. I mean, you don't need to hire a professional photographer. Have a good phone, have a good smartphone, and just be creative in how you do your things. One of the most important things as well that I think people should know is that Amazon will make the bulk of your earnings when you self-publish on their platform. For instance, say your book sells for $20, you will earn roughly about $7 to $8 to $9 on your book, depending on the size and all of that, and how much it costs them to print. So you have to ensure that you'll be okay with that. If that's not something you're okay with, then I would not recommend that you publish through Amazon self-publishing services. Always remember that this isn't an overnight thing. This is an investment, and the same day you publish your book is not the same day that your book is guaranteed to take off, become a bestseller, to earn you thousands of dollars, you know? So you have to be prepared for that. Do not become defeated. I mean, it's natural for you to feel as if you wasted your time, but I just want to let you know that if you are passionate about what it is you're doing, do not become defeated. A lot of people publish for the wrong reason. A lot of people publish to make money. That should never be a key going in. Of course you want to make money, but if that is your focus, you will never succeed. You have to ensure that you're passionate about what it is you've written, about what it is you want to achieve. And once you do that, it'll be great. So I'll put a link in the description box for Amazon self-publishing services that you can click on and get started. It's a pretty straightforward service. I don't know if it's because I've done it so many times, but even from the beginning, because at first it was called CreateSpace was very, very easy to understand. The new platform KDP, Kindle Direct Publishing, is a little bit more tricky, but it's easy in the end. You just have to take your time to just look around and to see what it is that you want. As I said, you can always hire someone to do that process for you as well. Amazon also provides you with a free ISBN, as ISBN can be a bit costly, so they provide you with that as well. And yeah, as I said, it's a free service, so if you're thinking about finance, you don't have to factor that in if you're going to use Amazon self-publishing platform. If you're in Jamaica like me, when it comes to payment, I use Payoneer. I mean, if you have a US account, you can go ahead and use that. I use Payoneer, which you can, I have a video on how Payoneer works. I use Payoneer to receive my payments, my book payments, my royalty payments from Amazon. I get paid the following month. So say we're in April, for April earnings, I wouldn't get paid until May. So you can think about that as well, if it is that you are going to be fully dependent on your earnings from your book sales. Yeah, I think that's about it. If you have any questions about publishing, or I should have said, you guys can get all of my books that I showed earlier on Amazon. And be sure to support, share this video, share my poem, share everything, guys. I'd really appreciate it. And yeah, I would recommend self-publishing, but I would definitely suggest that you do your research before going in. And as I said, establish your brand before you start publishing. That is so important. I mean, it started out with me. My first book was, to me, a complete failure, but I didn't stop. I continued, and I ended up having amazing books, having celebrities purchase my books, having my books win me awards. I mean, so it's just a lesson that you need to stay focused, continue to put in the work. My books, like the Curly Hair Club, was published from 2017, 2018. And it's still doing well because I don't just publish and leave. I continue to push it, as I mean, there are new readers being born every day. You always have a market. Your books can never become redundant once you keep pushing it. So guys, if self-publishing is something you want to do, let me know if you found this video helpful, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Bye.